Hello, Truffle. We're back with Lore Tuesday. I'm so hungry. Hi, Bagel. Hi, Frog. My god, I have to set up Taskmaster! Shit! I haven't done that yet! That's supposed to happen this month! I need to write that down, actually. Hi, Light. Hi, Bob. Guys, are you happy? Are you happy for the ball coming up? Are you excited? Oh, I love the smile SMP. I love how joyous and happy everything is on the Smile SMP and nothing bad ever happens. I'm so excited for the ball. Hi, Belus. Hi, Glitch! Oh my gosh, hi. Oh, I forgot to turn on the music. There you go. Enjoy the music. Someone please order me a pizza. I'm starving. And I think Virgil forgot to make mac and cheese. Side note, Oakland's canonically mad no one came to wish her a happy birthday. Oh, wait, that's so sad. Oh, poor Oakle. Thank you, Truffle. You're the best. Did we have a... We had a Wednesday stream, right? Oh, but I only read stuff up to the 25th, so everything after the 25th is fair game. Alright, this shouldn't be too bad. We should be good. You got leftover pizza and garlic bites? Hell yeah. It's pepperoni, and I think this was someone's last day because it was absolutely loaded with cheese. Ooh. Uncle turned 28. Aw. I sometimes thought about giving Freya a birthday. Like, she might choose... She might... If she chose a birthday, she might choose Marcelo's. She's just like, you know what? I want a birthday. And he's like, alright, well, what day would you want it to be? She's like, I want yours. And he'd be like, you can't have mine. That's rude. I want Cool Whip. I want to eat a whole container of Cool Whip. Bailey's birthday is the 10th. Let's go. His birthday's coming up. Marcelo's is the 9th. On the day of the ball. Where nothing will wrong or bad will happen. I promise. March 25th? I'm writing that down. I gotta remember. I gotta remember all my staff's birthdays. Usually I'll buy, like, games or something for y'all, but I'm decidedly broke right now. Light's birthday's January 1st. That's pretty cool. We're getting Jay Schlatt for his birthday. Oh my god. For those of you who don't know, Frog tweeted at Jay Schlatt today, inviting him to the ball on the Smile SMP, and asked if he wanted to fake sing for us. The ball's secretly a pardoning ceremony? No, unfortunately, Okul is not invited to the ball. She's the only one not invited. Although I'm sure if she showed up, Freya would just be like, oh, it's okay, I'm sure she won't do anything bad. Everyone is invited, including Jay Schlatt. I love the Copper update too. I'm glad we were able to actually update it. Usually, you know, plugins are dragging their feet, but this one, it worked. What did Okul even do? A few things. Least of which is escaping from confinement. Mods, bring out the list. Exactly. Quite a I don't know if I believe that. I think she probably murdered someone. Maybe not on Solace, but in her life, I think she's probably killed. I mean, being named executioner. I don't think people give enough credit to the name, like the title of Blind Executioner being such a badass name. We don't need to talk pre-Solace numbers. Yeah, she did. Okay, that's true. She did kill Belios, but he's still alive. So does it count? She can't even do that. Maybe she's kind of soft. All right, Lore Tuesday time. Here we go. Where's my camera? There we go. Hello, gang. I'm here. My lighting is as terrible as ever. I wonder how I could make it better. I don't know. I need to get a ring light. Anyone want to get me one for Christmas? Freya killed Belios? I don't know. Why is my little thing is in the corner? Hold on, I gotta turn that off. Bye-bye, cat. Okay. Being messaged by light. Hold on. Your birthday is October 13th. I will keep that in mind. Happy late birthday. I'll get you next year. Alright. Curiosity. This one is from Bloom. Long time no see, Bloom. An alert drew my attention. I'm going to turn down the music for myself. An alert drew my attention. The mailbox had been opened. I checked the feed, seeing Truffle pick it up and put it away in their vest. I don't even think they read what was on it. What? Oh well, let's see what'll happen. Over the course of the next few days, I managed to pick up a routine from Truffle. Around 8 in the morning, Truffle wakes and looks at the ceiling. I'm not quite sure what is up there, but maybe it's schizophrenia. 5 minutes later, they say a prayer to Divinitus? I couldn't quite tell. The audio in this camera isn't the best. A minute later, they either go to the tavern for breakfast or make it, thanking that same Divinitus for the food. Around 8:30, they get dressed, packing a dagger with them every time. At 9 in the morning, they seem to go to the hospital to interact with Zenithra. Seems to have a positive relationship. I shall just call this free time. A few hours later in the afternoon, they have lunch. Not always having food, but lunch nonetheless. Truffle continues their free time with Zenithra for a few hours until 6 p.m. Around this time, they occasionally have dinner, but seem to ignore their need for food sometimes. Dude, Truffle's going through it. The sun goes down, and most normally they seem to go in for the night. I can see the tension in them whenever they are out at night for too long. Yet again, maybe schizophrenia? Around 11 they sleep, though it seems to vary from what I've observed. There was one thing I noticed, though it was tough due to the camera angles I had. There seemed to be eyes in Truffle's shadow. Red eyes. I thought it was a trick of the light for a moment, but I rewound my video and I saw it. How curious. Does everyone have eyes in their shadows? I'd think not. Will Divinitus do anything? Why am I so white? Ah! Why am I so... Maybe I need more light. I'm glowing. I am Divinitus. It's me! Divinitus. I'll get a ring light eventually. Biblically accurate Freya. It's giving you are my sunshine. That's crazy. That's crazy. You're crazy. Analysis from Truffle. I'd been watching over Truffle ever since our little chat. It had been nothing much, pathetic if anything. They followed practically the same routine, if it could even be called that. The routine in question was sitting in a metal hospital chair that I knew had to be uncomfortable, watching over Zenithra, waiting for them to wake up, even though they knew the young one was faking slumber, for reasons that I believe I might be the only to know. This routine was interrupted today. Some kind of commotion happened out in the hallway, and Truffle ran to check. I followed in their shadow. The man whose name I believe was Balios was escaping the hospital, stumbling a bit, likely due to the medicine in his veins. Truffle had spoken about how he only had arrived a few days prior. Truffle began running after Balios with the nurse whose name was Light, as stated on a small plastic name tag. More people joined, but I didn't know their names. The escapee ran, and he ran and ran and ran. It was honestly surprising to me that he had made it this far. I stayed in Truffle's shadow, just watching everything unfold. However, once they were near a tower, they stopped and turned around. Something about needing to be there at the hospital for Zenithra. That would be no issue. I simply switched to hide in the shadow of the person who seemed to be some kind of frog creature. Once they were in a large stone building, I transferred to the shadows of the walls, moving faster. I watched from a hallway as someone I didn't recognize began pouring some kind of red liquid onto black stone. The rest of what happened was somewhat of a blur. Thank you. I never did well in overwhelming situations. There was a bunch of yelling. What the hell are you doing, hag? How dare you? Light was yelling. How fucking dare you, using such a spell on him? Balios was holding her back. You both are so dramatic. This isn't going to kill you, just harm you slowly, to make sure you keep the end of your deal, Baliothrax Bloodhound. You don't get to use that name, Catherine. Aw, is someone upset? Come on, Baliothrax. You know I always make sure those who make a deal always keep their word, especially those close to me. I was writing the entire conversation down into a book. You made your own doom, Catherine. Catherine Dragonis, I banish you from this realm of living as well as any others that my friends touch. You are dead, so stay dead. The woman whose name I believe was Kathy was pushed through some kind of portal. I'm fine. My condition merely caught up with me. Let's get you somewhere to rest, Light. But then a strange man with wings came out of the portal. Ugh, we already read this like 6 times. Please. Ugh. Divinitus did everything. How else is a blind general supposed to fly a ship through space? Yeah, that's fair. Skip the dialogue like it's a video game. I think you've read this 3 times. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be faceless. Hold on. Let me change my camera. Maybe I can configure video. Exposure. Okay, you guys want to see me like this? Hi guys. I'm just floating in a room. See, but then when I do this, it does this. I don't want my frame rate to drop for no reason. Okay. We'll just have to do this, I guess. I can up the brightness a little. Maybe lower contrast. Okay. That's a little better, right? Also, I should be flipped. I feel like I should be facing this way so I'm like reading the thing, you know? Look at the non-quoted parts, okay. That's what the point of the mask is. Okay, here I am. He attacked Light. I was prepared to step in to protect anyone from certain death, but I had a feeling that wouldn't be necessary. Things we've already heard before. Trust me, not even I thought this many people would try to kill you. Light had gotten back up. You masked stranger. The strange man left, and I didn't quite care enough to watch the aftermath. In the end, everyone ended up alive at the very least. I took note of who was there, assigning them a description if I did not know their name, and if I should consider them an enemy. This is Chaos. If Chaos had an emerald, or Chaos was really into like jewelry, Chaos emeralds, something like that. Did I cut my hair? I cut my bangs on stream a while ago. Let me open this up so you can... just kidding. Let me... Here. You can see my bangs a little better. I cut my bangs. But not the rest of my hair, because I don't know how to do that. But I do know how to cut my bangs, kind of, so they don't look terrible. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Whatever. Okay. There will be more writing later, trust. Mission success. This is so cute. This is so cute. We have Feather and Bob and Comet and Bob. Wait, no, that's Bob. No, wait, who's that? Who's that? This is Zivy and Cam. Who is this? Am I stupid? That was Dante, right? I don't see Dante very much, so sorry. Thumbs down by Oh, yeah, by Violence. That's canon. Thank you so much. Ooh, this is an Okul thing. Hold on. Wait, where's the music? Pause the music. Stop the music. Hold on. Well, I guess we'll do small. It's fine. You can see it.
Infant male, 13.2 pounds.
Confirmed.
Infant female, 13.3 pounds.
Confirmed.
Infant female, 10.2 pounds. Confirmed.
Confirmed.
She's a runt. Do you remember protocol?
It never gets easier.
'Tis the burden of a brood mother.
'Tis. Set her aside. She'll be sent to the surface once we finish with this brood. The Heliolymph will decide her fate.
The Heliolymph will decide.
That was so cool. It was so cool. Is that the origins? I wonder if this is the origins of Okul. I mean, I guess that would make sense. Okul was brought to the surface or whatever. Poor Okul, just doomed to her fate. This reminds me of the dog scene from the Fallout show. I didn't get past episode 3 of the Fallout show, unfortunately. If any of you want voice acting, I love doing voice acting. Also, good job to Fluffy, and thanks CJ for the footage and everything. All right, we don't have many days video. Another eclipse log.
Personal log. It's Cypher's birthday today. I baked him a cake with the stuff I got from the last station, and it turned out pretty good. At the very least, Cypher liked it. He ate almost the entire thing in one sitting. I did end up setting up the Vocatas for him, though it was a lot different from how my parents did it. Cypher isn't really... well, let's just say fighting isn't his strong suit. Instead, I came up with a technical challenge. I had Hunter break a couple of stations in the lab. Just enough to make it a challenge. Cypher took one, and I took the other, each with the same set of tools. It still amazes me how smart he is. He beat me by 12 minutes. It's no wonder he's taken over so much of engineering. I'm so proud of him.
More development with Eclipse and Cypher. The Vocatas, however you say that. Thanks, Virgil, for making the most difficult thing to say ever. So that is a traditional Anathi, like, coming of age thing that parents do with their kids, Anathi families, where when they become an adult, they fight their parent to, like, make sure that, you know, they're because Anathi are very, like, they're all about fighting and everything. You know, they do that to make sure that they are ready to be an adult and, you know, be strong enough for that and everything. So they fight their parents to win. And in my car right after up here. No, Cypher. But anyway, because Cypher isn't really much for fighting, Eclipse did an engineering test for him. So it's like, you know, just like she's like, you're old enough now. I'm gonna make sure that you are gonna succeed as an adult. Anyway, very cute. And Nazi culture is so cool. Virgil's like, he's still fleshing it out more, but like it's cool what he's developed. The way that I think it's like the way that a way that Anathi flirt is by like fighting with each other too. They're very fighty type people. Anyway. Oh yeah, we got the frog video. Let's get ready to watch this. Let me pause the music again. Bring this up. Get anxious. Don't be anxious. We love your videos. Ah. Where's the YouTube thing? Hold on. There we go. Hell yeah. I love watching frog videos. Alright. We're sitting back. Grab a snack.
Violence? Oh, you're spinning.
Hey,
Uh,
the f are you doing here?
I just feel bad.
What? You feel bad? You feel bad?
Yeah.
Now look at now look at me, right? I don't have my arms. I don't even have my arms.
I can see that.
I have nothing because of you.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Oh, you're sorry.
I really am.
Sorry,
I just I didn't expect. I guess I didn't expect you to be put down here. This is. I know you're a robot. This is insane though. And now you don't have your arms. And I
You put me in
feel
here.
terrible.
You feel
I'm-
terrible. You mocked me.
It was
You mocked me when I was in the hole. You knew
It was a-
exactly what you were doing.
It was a reaction. I got excited, I guess, because I thought I was doing the right thing, and I see that it might have been the right thing at the moment.
I know
but
captures
I
take
see
a
now
long
that
time.
it
If that's too
is
much work, don't worry about it.
wrong.
You do a
Right,
decent job.
Right. And what are you doing here?
I want to get you out
You want to
Before-
get me out.
before your trial. You're aware of
My
when
trial?
that is, right? You're not aware?
Sure I am. It's my trial. I have to be there.
Yeah, I just want to get you out before that, because they're gonna either keep you down here forever, or put you somewhere worse, or do something that I don't want to think about. But I
Like
don't,
what? Kill me? They don't have the guts to do that. As long as Freya is in power, they aren't going to do anything to me. They're too scared.
I've realized that.
That's what I love and hate about this stupid system.
I know they aren't gonna do anything.
You put me in here, and now you're offering to help me because of what? Guilt?
Yeah, I feel
Because you
terrible.
feel guilty?
Yes.
Oh, I feel terrible. Oh, I feel so. Oh, I'm so sorry, Violence. Oh, I'm sorry that you don't have your arms anymore. Oh, I'm sorry that you're in a. Okay.
Acting.
Okay. You let me help you?
I doubt you can, but okay.
I can try. I want to try my hardest to get you out. Okay?
How?
Well, whoever has the key to your door, maybe I can get it and get you out of here.
How?
I don't know who has
You're
the
nothing
key,
but a
if
Frogger. Only thing you're good for is jumping and running.
no, I can.
What? Swim?
People see me as friendly, and I'm friends with the judges. And
They
if
see
they
you
have the key,
Good and friendly because you're too scared to do anything with your life.
I think that's the same thing with almost everybody here. But I see your point.
Scared?
Yeah.
People
a little
as scared
bit,
as you, though.
maybe, but
You're so oblivious, Frog.
why?
But don't worry. Don't worry. It's okay. I forgive you.
You do? I feel like that was a lie.
It's okay.
Okay.
You don't have to help me.
No, I want to help you.
I'll see you soon, okay?
Okay. Okay.
An
I'll see you
ominous-
soon.
Okay. And I'll try and get the key.
Bye.
Okay. I promise.
Sure.
Bye bye.
You have fun with that.
Okay. Bye.
Is this Mira or is this Elia? The day Freya actually sanctions the death penalty is the day Oko gets the fuck off of Solace.
Oh.
Who knows? Maybe that.
Hi.
Hi.
You never
I
know.
was just looking at some books that you had in there.
You know that's off limits,
Oh, it's
right?
Mira.
Really? There's no sign. I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
It's good. You didn't say, you just didn't take anything, right?
Oh no, I didn't take anything. I promise.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, just heads up on that time.
Okay. I promise I won't go back in. Okay.
It's good.
Bye bye.
Alright, bye bye.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, because I was like, I mean, didn't Elia make like a deal with violence? So I was like, oh, she's pretending to be Mirror again, and it's gonna go down and get violence out or something. Wouldn't be that hard to do.
You too.
There's an Easter egg. Ooh. She was in the crowd at the day of the trial and she snuck down to talk to him. Ah. The sniffer on the shelves. He shouldn't be up there. He likes to feel tall. It's like when cats like being up high so they can observe things. Sniffer cat. Frog, you wouldn't! I don't have to put you in jail. The zoom in was because Mira's sleeping self glitched out. That's funny. My gosh.
And you know this. As long as
you're-
everything
you're-
is under. I doubt you can.
You're
Frog
still
getting
really quick.
jump scared all the
I
time.
doubt you can, but okay.
That's funny. 10 out of 10, absolute cinema. Love it every time. Alright, back to it. From Balios, Zephyr Logs. Oh, hold on. There we go. November 24th. So this is the miserable planet Balios left to. I don't see the appeal. Most people here are loud, and I already met those who kill on sight. They got in my way of my personal things. I'll have to try again. Hopefully the pests don't bother me while I try to kill Balios. Maybe I can actually do damage to him without being all protective about others. So Kathy is gone. It's all Zephyr now. From Oliver. I believe I've been gone for almost a month now. The fish have been telling me sort of what's going on in town. It gets a little lost in translation. I suppose I should start trying to figure out how to get out of this thing. This vacation has got a little out of hand. Aww. Who fished up Oliver and then just left him there? Oh. Glitter Bomb Part 1. Okay. It had been a few days since the banishment and attack in the Balios' basement. He was still suffering from his wounds before and after the crash landing. Most of his wounds had scarred over, at least the smaller one. The others were scabbing, but the one directly in his chest wasn't healing. Balios had woken up in the morning in a cold sweat. He groaned as he sat up, his body aching everywhere. He stood and immediately got lightheaded. He went down the vines that led to the second floor, and he went through his chest to find some things that would help. Maybe some water or food. Though he couldn't find much, he went upstairs thinking he'd find something in his kitchen. He then realized he didn't have a kitchen. He sighed and began walking toward the basement entrance, but he lost his footing and fell, hitting the basement floor with a loud thud. He let out a yelp. He struggled to get up and used a chest to pull himself up. Yeah, I might need the hospital again, Balios said, forming an idea as he saw a glitter bomb. She needs some light in her life, he said as he coughed up blood and grabbed the bomb before walking to the ladder. Sorry, I heard something. Ladder and ascending it. He then walked out of the house and began making his way to the hospital, stumbling here and there and coughing up blood now and then. Oh, Balios. He eventually reached the bridge to the community center and where he took a small break. He felt the blood from his chest wound seep into his shirt. He sighed before forcing himself to stand and continue. He made it to the hospital where he opened the door and stepped in with a smile. He looked at Light holding the glitter bomb in his hand. He chuckled, as he threw it at the glass, making the glitter bomb pop and make glitter go everywhere. But just as the glitter fell, so did he. He fell to the ground unconscious, but with that smug smile that Light might beat him for. Why does Balios... Dude, Balios has gone... So, like, he had this heartwarming arc, you know? He died. And then he, like, came back and forgave the person who, like, you know... Not the person who actually killed him, but, like, Freya. And, like, you know, went through all this stuff where, like, trying to become a god or whatever and to protect people. And then he just hates on the poor hospital workers. Even though they've saved his life numerous times. Yeah, exactly. What are you doing? Light destroyed his kitchen? Why did Light destroy his kitchen? I don't remember that. Journal 12 from Light. November 29th, 2497, 8:13 of the clock in the morning. A lot has happened since my last journal entries. Balios had crash-landed through the hospital, crushing Truffle in the process. Kron escaped the hospital, disappearing to gods know where. I lost my temper with Okel and had beaten the warden up. I had earned a pretty scar from the ordeal. Damn warden teeth. Their bites fucking hurt. At least this time it was my arm, something I can free pretty easily with a strike to the throat, and not by my leg like the last time I was forced to face a warden. Never mind, I'm rambling. Kathy is gone, thank the gods. She was banished back to the realm of the dead she belongs to. But now there's a new threat in the form of a tall winged person wearing a mask and a green cloak that was covered in sigils. He had tried to attack Balios. He nearly had Kron hurt. I took 2 shocks of electricity. Balios and Waters were certainly angry with my decision to run off before someone could attend to my injuries, despite the fact I could heal myself. Dad scolded me for about an hour when I'd come in for my shift at the SUNC facility. Worth it, in my opinion. I was able to keep an eye on Kron from the sky, making sure they got home safely. I'll have to inform Croy of Kron's location. I'm sure he'll be relieved that Kron is safe. Was that a sneeze? Achoo! I'm going to skin Balios. I fucking swear. Okay. Why? I mean... Oh, the glitter bomb. That was the glitter bomb. That's funny. Get a hold of your employees. I didn't realize so many of my employees punch patients. That's funny. The next day. I'm trying not to panic, I really am. Violence is free, Waters is missing, and Frog is in danger. I'd started my search for Waters and Violence at the tornado campsite, later moving to the ditch we had dug to prevent from getting hit by the tornado. Oh, had to duck into to prevent getting hit by that tornado. Nothing. Not even a sign. I didn't expect much since it had been 2 hours since Waters had been lured away. I don't know what to do. I'll admit it, I'm scared. I'm scared that Violence will kill him, maybe? I'm scared that I'll lose my dad. I need to focus. No freaking out. I'll alert everyone tomorrow. Law meeting be damned. My dad, Waters, is in danger. Frog is in danger. There haven't been any alerts so far, so I doubt that anyone in the courthouse had noticed that Violence had broken out. Damn them. They know they have a prisoner and they don't check on him? Idiots. That's exactly how he escaped. That, and he likely had help. But from who else besides Elia? Later in the day, I checked on Frog. I guessed that she was in her house. She's missing as well. Gods. Violence, why would you do something that would get you into even more trouble? I need to find him. He'll know where Frog is. Oh, I hope nothing bad happens to any of these people. Ah! Oh, security camera from... This is Elia stuff. Let me, do this.
Rough day.
You. I figured it out, you know. You're the one who attacked Waters, aren't you?
Oh yeah, we watched this
He
together.
attacked me first. He always does.
Look, I don't care, relationship issues or whatever, just why are you here? Why do you keep finding me?
Do you seriously not know?
That's why I'm asking, isn't it?
You drew him out. He would have spent his entire life stuck in that little facility working on his own and staying socially isolated from this world if it hadn't been for you. I can't imagine why you were the one to do it, but I can't argue with the results. And considering that you yourself are now stuck in a little situation of your own, I figured we can find an opportunity between each other.
Like what?
Like, I know you're getting out of here already, but what if I give you a little something to do with the person who put you here, and you do me one simple favor and draw him out again for me?
I'm not going to hurt Waters. I respect him too much.
I want to talk to him, not hurt him. It's not my fault my tone is naturally aggressive when he's around. We had a complicated history.
Yeah, sure. You say that, but why would I believe you after the last time?
Just believe. You keep bringing it up like it means anything. He hasn't come to visit you. He hasn't fought for you. When you were accused of that meeting, he didn't say anything. He handed over evidence against you and never looked back. You believe him, despite him not believing in you. You don't need to believe me. You want revenge, don't you? I can make you something that will cause that frog more pain than they caused you. You're already in a hole. Why not keep digging?
Fine. What do you want me to do?
Once you're out of here, go to that tornado site and call him. That's all I ask. You can leave immediately after and go wherever you need to go. I'll give you the poison you need after.
No. You'll give me the poison before. You're going to show me it works, and you are going to give it to me.
All right. I can do that. Do we have a deal?
Yeah. It's a deal.
Wonderful. I will see you when this is all over then.
Myth and Violence are such peak voice actors. Ugh. So good. After trial, violence written lore. Slight body horror also in the perspective of violence. We're getting so much violence stuff today. Let's go. Backstabbers, that frog, leaving me to rot in this cell. I will get out of here soon, eventually. It's cold in here. They barely even remembered to give me a bed. The blanket, sadly, has fallen on the welcoming stone below. Each stone that passes by shows how overwhelming the silence is here. Being the only one in these cells has truly proven who the planet's favorite criminal is. How did this guy get in the cell across from me? That cell was empty when they dragged me here. I could have sworn it. This old man in his ragged clothes. What possible feeble crime could this absolute nobody do? I hear his knees crack as his feeble body stands up. I watch his skeletal figure push against the bars as if he's trying to slip through. His efforts are in vain since the gaps are clearly too small. Crack, punch, or crunch, pop. Is this Gatsby? With each second, I see this man push his broken body through the bars. He should be dead. What is this creature? He's out, but he's crawling to me. I need to move or try to defend myself at least. I could hear the squelching of the body making it through my cell's bars. This is it. This is how I die. As its form stands, I could see it changing. Its head was a TV? Wow, now that's what I call an entrance. I apologize for the scare, but I could not resist myself. I am Gatsby. I would shake your hand, but you're kind of unarmed at the moment. Do I have a... Hold on. Wait, no. I need, like... Sorry, I saw but it's dun dun dun. I need like a da-da-ts, that kind of thing, you know? Oh well. I guess that sound effect works too. His hands moved as he was talking. A chuckle escaped from my lips. It's been a while since that has happened. Why is he here, though? What could he possibly want? Why are you here? Well, I saw how you pulled a chair out of nowhere and just sat down. I've been intrigued about your story, my clowny friend. I cannot just let talent like yours just rot in this cell. I'm gonna free you, but I need you to do something first. His eye turned into a grin. And what is that? My soul? I could feel my smile start to die. No, why does everyone always assume that with me? I want you to make a wish. Choose wisely. I can't do everything. He was still grinning. A wish? I need to make this count, but I want to be the one to get my revenge. That's when the answer calls to me and I tell it to my liberator. Ah, what a good wish. It is technically bending the rules, but I think it should go through. With that, he snapped his fingers. I heard someone come down the stairs. I don't know who it is. Hold on. I'm gonna see. I'll be right back. Hold on. Agony rips through my body. My screams are silenced. However, I could feel my insides turn inside out. That is when the darkness claimed me. When I awoke, I had my arms back. However, my right arm had been upgraded. More metallic, but inside held my key to revenge. My rail cannon! It's so over. Rail cannon. Ta-da! You turned out excellent. Now for your release. With that, he stood up and yanked me up by the collar of my shirt. Next thing I knew, I was thrown through my cell door. Its hinges gave way and the floor welcomed it with open arms. Just like my blanket. Clowns first. I scrambled back up. Gatsby was gone. Gatsby's just helping. What is Gatsby planning? Why is he getting, like, Okul out and then now violence? We have a transcript from SUNC. We'll do this.
Sirius, can you notify Light not to?
Uniform Light not to what?
Sirius, cancel. Violence, what? Are you alright? Did she... Yeah, that sounds like her. You see her now? The image is violence. Alright. Listen to me. Just stay there. I'm coming.
This was voice mod, I'm pretty sure.
Would you like me to notify Light that you are heading out?
No. She wouldn't like hearing about this. I don't want to cause her more strife over this with the trial today, and I'll tell her tomorrow. I'm sure he's been bashed up and long gone.
Understood. Waters.
The facility can handle itself for one night. You're in charge, Sirius, so keep it afloat. Or something.
Oh, it was a trick. No, don't fall for it. Damn it. From Light, something's wrong. Something is wrong. A lot of things are wrong. Light stumbled out of the elevator, panting from her run to the facility. Oh gods, oh great gods, I'm so sorry, she said as she quickly rushed to her station, dumping her bag into the chair. She pulled her hair back into a ponytail. Waters, I am so sorry for being late. There was an incident at the hospital and I was helping clean up glitter. I lost track of time and Light trailed off when she saw that the lab was empty. She blinked, her ears lowered. Waters? She called as she walked into the room just beside her station and looked around, then up at the catwalk above. Her stomach sank. She quickly walked to the elevator that led to the two lower labs. Waters wasn't in either lab. Panic rose in Light's chest, threatening to choke her. She took a sharp breath and forced herself to stay calm. She went back up to the main lab and checked the garden. He wasn't there. Then she checked the sleeper pods, the kitchen, his personal area, the observation area, the submarine area, then out in the sea around the facility. He was nowhere to be found. She returned inside the facility. Rose, can you pull up all the cameras in and around the facility, along with all the cameras in the Keepers of Solace? She said as she rushed back to her station. She checked through the footage from the day before and today for each camera feed. The cameras from within the facility had caught when Waters had been called by Violence. She could have guessed that it was because Elia had hurt Violence, but it had been a couple hours since then. Surely Waters would have returned by now. Come on, Dad, where are you? She muttered as she switched to the camera feed that showed the Parks and Rec Center. She paused. There was Waters, or at least someone who looked like Waters, working in the center. Light wanted to feel relief at the sight, but she didn't. She remembered what Waters had said about Elia, how she could change her to look to appear as someone else. What's to say that this isn't her doing that exact thing here, trying to trick anyone checking the camera feed? But the longer she stared, the longer she noticed how the footage seemed to loop. She growled, her ears lowering. She chewed her lip as she changed the video feed to the one from the jail and rewound it. She tensed when she saw the light flare of Elia. She paused the footage, her stomach sinking as she slowly put the pieces together. Light rewound the clip to tell the beginning of the conversation. Then she let the footage play out. Elia manipulated Violence, playing on his desire for revenge, her offering a poison to hurt the frog if he lured Waters to the tornado site. She stood up so fast that she knocked over her chair. That's why Violence had contacted Waters. That's why Elia had placed the looping footage there to try and trick anyone who would look through the cameras. She felt sick. Frog was in danger. Waters was in danger. Her dad was in trouble right now. Cyros, can you track where Waters is right now? She asked, desperation in her voice. I'm afraid I cannot give you that information, Employee Light, Cyros replied. Damn it, Light cried, tears forming in her eyes. She turned and ran to the elevator, taking it back up to the upper levels. She ran to the outer docks. She shifted into her dragon form and leapt into the air, flying to the tornado impact site to look for any trace of Waters or violence. She needed answers. She needed to find her dad. And another frog video. Absolute cinema. Warnings for the end. Poisoning. Frog napping. Ah. Let's go. You stayed up till 1 a.m. editing the video? Oh my gosh.
Defendant will now enter the court. Everyone, please stand. The Court of the Keepers of Solace is now in session. I, Les Solaris, will preside as your judge. Everyone but the jury may be seated. Jury, do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will truly listen to this case and render a true verdict and a fair sentence to this defendant? You may be seated.
The nodding.
Members of the jury, your duty today would be to determine whether the defendant is guilty or not guilty, based only on the facts and evidence provided in this case. The prosecution must prove that crime was committed and that the defendant is the person who committed that crime. However, if you are not satisfied the defendant's guilt to that extent, then reasonable doubt exists and the defendant must be found not guilty. Today's case is the Keepers of Solace versus Violence. Is the prosecution ready?
Yes.
Very good. And it's the defense ready?
We are.
Very good.
I
Prosecution,
should've
you
sent
may
you my
come to the
footage.
stand for your
Well, I guess it's
opening
on YouTube.
statements.
Hello, my fellow members and my fellow members of the jury. Today, we are here face to face with someone who has been a traitor here to everybody in Solace. Violence the Clown has helped an animated state by providing evidence that may have resulted in the great harm of one of the fellow members of Solace and also a faction leader.
did a great
Today,
job,
we are
Mika.
here to prove that Violence did have ill intent towards both the planet and the specific individual that was harmed.
Defense, you may now come to the stand for your opening statements.
Members of the jury and everyone watching. The prosecution is saying that Violence here committed crimes. I'm here to say that they did not. They did not do it with ill intent. That's all I have to say.
We shall now proceed to the examination. Prosecution, you may call your first witness.
Could I please have Comet stand? Comet, is it true that whenever you were attacked by Eclipse, you found some evidence of a schedule?
Yes. After I was attacked and traded blows with Eclipse, I still remained at the library because I knew I probably shouldn't move too much after, getting this grievous injury. So I looked around and I noticed in the grass something that I knew didn't belong, as I am very familiar with the grounds of the library, as I was the one who built it. I noticed a book in the grass, and now usually I would never leave a book out in the grass, so I knew it wasn't one that I had. When I crawled over to grab it, I opened it up, and it had very shocking thing of, it was my entire day-to-day schedule, and it said at the end, do what you want with this information.
Alright, can you confirm that the schedule it is the one that's being shown?
This is indeed the schedule that I found.
Can you confirm that this book is not written by you or anybody that could be not Violence the Clown?
No, it's not my handwriting. It's not any of my friends.
Here is a book signed by the Violence the Clown, given to me when I did receive an injury. Can you confirm that this handwriting is the same as the one in the book with the schedule?
Yes, it's the same exact handwriting.
From this examination, are you certain that Violence the Clown is guilty of aiding an enemy of the state?
Yes.
Thank you.
Objection leading the witness.
Please remember to focus on the evidence.
Alright, you can go sit back down.
Oh, okay.
Could
This is a
Frog
long
please come to the stand,
process,
please?
I imagine.
Hi, Frog. Were you familiar with Violence the Clown prior to this trial?
Sort of. He appeared a lot at faction meetings.
Can you confirm that you were the person who was able to apprehend Violence the Clown and brought them to the jury?
Yes, I did.
When you encountered Violence, was there anything that he said or he did that made you believe that he is a danger?
We questioned him why he did these things, and he said that he did it for fun rather than to hurt somebody.
Do you believe that he was pressured into saying anything like that?
No, he was laughing.
That is all I have. Thank you. You can go back. With the witnesses and the proof that I have, Violence the Clown was malicious with the intent of harming Comet and did so in a methodical manner that took a long time and can be seen as not an accident. That is all I have to say.
Thank you,
You did a great
prosecution.
job, Frog.
The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses.
Comet, would you please come to the stand? I agree. This handwriting does look similar to the handwriting shown in the prior evidence. However, I do not believe that Violence did it with ill intent. It was not malicious. I do believe that this was methodical, that he did take the time to plan it out. I do believe that, and I'm sorry for any harm that has befallen you. Is there anything else you can add to the handwriting or to anything else that happened at the scene that might not have been explained by the prosecution?
Well, I was locking up for the night. You know, I was able to
Okay.
lock the library before Eclipse held a knife to my neck, and that's when we began to fight. I was able to wrestle it away for a little bit until she slipped away and she managed to grab the knife and throw it at me. And that's when, with my communicator, I called Cam of Lilac Expeditions as I was due to meet him soon after the time. I called him saying I wouldn't be able to make it to the meeting and Eclipse had attacked me, and he basically came as soon as he could. He dropped everything to come to my aid. That's when I found, as I was sitting down, or just trying to gather my thoughts and stuff, that I noticed the book in the grass.
No further questions. Frog, can you come here? Can you come to the stand? Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Glad to hear it. You say that when you met up with Violence, accidentally from what I understand,
Yes.
when you questioned him, he seemed that it was for fun, correct?
Yes.
That, to put it plainly, for the love of the game, just for enjoyment. I don't say that was malicious. I say that because there was no ill intent. So how do you feel?
I wouldn't say it was malicious, but it was. I don't exactly know how to say how I felt about it.
Are you well acquainted with Violence?
No, not really.
No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Defense, you may now call your first witness for your own direct examination.
Call Violence.
Alright.
How are you doing today? I know it's been very stressful down there.
Very tired. Restless sleep.
I bet. What were you feeling when you wrote that schedule? Did you write that schedule?
I did.
Did you give it to Eclipse?
I did not give it to Eclipse. I simply left it somewhere.
Who is saying that you did give it to Eclipse?
I believe it was Comet who claims that I gave the schedule to Eclipse.
May I ask why you, on the last line, you put, do with this whatever you wish?
There was no ill intent with that line.
I'm aware.
I
Fair
didn't
enough.
determine what happened afterwards.
This right
How was
here,
your
that was the
headspace?
end of it.
There was a point in time
Case
in my life
closed.
where I did
Case
go
closed.
to a dark place
He
due
wrote
to
it.
some unfortunate events, and every now and then I do think about said events that happened.
I'm sorry for whatever has happened. Do you think that you could be falling back into that place? Unwittingly?
I'm not sure.
Okay. No further questions. Feather? If you would. How are you doing today?
I'm living.
About as best as all of us can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was your takeaway from your meeting with Violence that night?
He needed help.
Interesting. Anything else?
I don't know what's going on in your personal life.
Exactly,
I'm
bro.
concerned and scared. I don't know.
Obvious question. What are you to violence?
Their parent. And I'm happy to say that, honestly.
It's good.
I'm still happy
It's always
about
good to
that.
have someone in your corner.
Objection, relevance to the case.
Can I go back to the seats?
You may.
Thank you, defense. Maybe so.
This is like he did it
We'll
and
now
he's
cross-examine the witnesses.
Ernst, could you please go to the stand? You're gonna tell me the first word that comes to mind whenever I mention someone. That sounds simple.
Alright.
Go with Feather.
Parent.
What about Freya?
You.
What about Comet?
Friend.
Are you sure?
Friend.
Some understanding, it is known that you and Comet usually have regular disagreements during faction meetings. Would that be correct?
Disagreements are not bad.
Yeah, but I do remember that one of the disagreements during one of the faction meetings
I did mute
insulting,
when Violet
especially
said
when
you to Freya.
we first the
So I didn't
evidence of
laugh.
the schedule first arose during the faction meeting, and Comet came
Yeah,
forward with the
relevance
truth.
could have been
Isn't
used a
that
lot
true?
more.
This is true.
It is also known that you have mainly disagreements with Comet out of everybody else. I guess I do admit that other people have had disagreements with you, but one of the main perpetrators has always been Comet. How come?
I just find them very interesting.
You can go back to your seat. Feather, could you please take on the stand? Hi, quick question. You are familiar with violence through basically for how long?
Don't remember for how long.
No one
Has
did
he been
analysis on the
different
handwriting.
from how you used to remember him?
No, he seems the same. Sorry, it's been a while.
Well, with all the differences in
Music is
accidents
so fire.
that has been happening
Love
within this
Rain.
time frame, would you be 100% certain that he has a different personality than what you used to remember?
I would say different.
Can you explain that real quick?
Well, I feel like didn't he seen a therapist before going to court to see if he's insane?
Sadly, we do not have any
Fair.
therapists of solace. Does that mean that you're worried about his mental state?
I am
Or
worried.
Will you say that some of his old tendencies or anything like that can be shown through violent actions?
I guess.
That's all I need to know. Thank you.
Thank you, prosecution. Both the prosecution and the defense have now rested their cases. The attorneys will now present their final arguments. Prosecution, you may begin.
With all the evidence of witnesses and multiple counts, we can safely say that Violence the Clown has done at least aggressive acts just because he thinks that they're fun or that they will bring joy. He is dangerous. He does not worry about the safety of others, aside from a few, and even then, those few does not guarantee that everybody else are gonna be safe. He has a methodical and long streak of patience. He has admitted that he's following other people. We do not know if he has any other targets in mind. We do not know if he is done with his acts of violence. He has proven
Acts
that
of
he is willing
violence.
to risk the life of another person in solace in order to get what he wants. It may be for a petty argument, or maybe for a disagreement, maybe for something else. He is willing to commit violence in order to get what he wants just because he feels like it.
There's
That
two
is my
different
case.
versions of the video.
Thank you,
Interesting.
defense. You may proceed with your closing arguments.
Members of the jury, I believe that Violence the Clown is not mentally well. His own parent says that they are worried about his mental state, that they don't seem the same. Violence
was that-
does all
what?
of this for fun.
What?
I feel state.
Are you
He
sure?
wants just because he feels like it. That is my case.
Thank you, defense.
Violence, petty of argument.
When did that happen?
They don't going on that is causing all of this, and no one is
objection?
bothering to look into this.
There is no medical or any professional witness or professional help that could be used right now.
Be accepted, please.
Fair enough.
Focus on evidence only.
I believe that there is a place on Solace that he could get the help he needs. 24-hour surveillance, guards, but in that place. Not down in that dungy hole, in a good place where Violence deserves it. Where they might see the sun, not in the depths of a basement. I rest my case.
Member of the jury, you have heard all of the testimony concerning
That last part there could have been probably clarified by the judge that, it's not the jury's, like, it's not their job to be like, well, I think that he should, I don't know, violence shouldn't be put in that dingy jail, blah blah blah. It's the defense's job is to prove that, you know, the evidence shows that Violence is not guilty or whatever.
In this case, it is now up to you to determine the facts. You and you alone are the sources of the fact. Once you have decided what facts the evidence proves, you must then apply the law to the facts as you find them. In Casabona, I will take you to the jury room to consider your verdict. Whatever verdict you render must be anonymous, which means that each and every one of you must agree on the same verdict. I will now take you to the deliberation room. All rise.
We went in 5 of us and came out 3 of us. Mira dancing.
I do think guilty verdict would be the best.
It all seems to point towards Violence being guilty.
We do need to come
safety,
to
I'll
an-
say guilty too.
I'm in agreement.
Suri.
If
Have
only
you
it was
used
that
verdict?
fast.
We have come to the conclusion, Your Honor, that Violence is guilty.
Thank you, Suri, for your service today. Violence will remain in cell until it can be proven that he is no longer a danger to Solace. Court is adjourned.
Why'd you cut out the 2 mini anomalies? Yeah, it went so long. Yeah, that's fair. I was being sarcastic when I said like, oh, it was so short or whatever. Wait, before we get to this part, I want to see the "Are you sure?" thing. Hold on.
Are not bad.
Yeah.
Parent.
To mind whenever I mention someone. That sounds simple.
Alright.
Go with Feather.
Parent.
What about Freya?
You.
What about Comet?
Friend.
Are you sure?
Friend.
So.
Bug's house. Look upstairs first. The little that.
What just got splashed me? Violence? Violence, what are you doing here? Violence, how'd you get out? Where'd you go? Why'd you do this? Throw it, stepped. Okay, I don't think that's very professional of you.
I keep doing that.
Attacking everybody
What?
I see.
Attacking everybody I see. Oh no, I should probably thumbs that up again. Hold on. It was a great video. I do like it. That was it kept lying down, made you glitch out. That's so weird. I've always liked your videos, or at least I try to remember. Alright. Promise. He stood by the pond, circling around it with impatience. His frustration grew as no one arrived. No one was within the hidden home below. He raised his hand, tar flowing out from his chest into the form of the goddess and her little prophet, matching the details to a T. He raised his other hand, tilting his head as a claw formed. Hi, Beef. Come here. Hi, baby. What's up? Come here. Come here, Beef. Hi, baby. What's up? What's up, Beef? Hi, baby Beef. show you Beef. Beef, you want to say hi? Oh, you can't even see her because it's a void in here. Damn it. Sorry. Well, she's there. Hi, Beef. Hi, baby. Oh, she thinks I'm gonna pick her up. I am. Alright. Bye, Violence. He raised his other hand, tilting his head as a claw formed. All of it fell away as he felt his comms device buzz, all of it returning to his chest as he removed the communicator from the void that sat there and checked. And barely a second later, he took off. They were here. How did he miss them? Light and Frog. The ghost rounded the corner and cleared over the river, his pace consistent and footsteps silent. His body phased through the dull trees, the shivers that racked his frame ignored. The grave of havoc he passed given a small acknowledgement out of respect, along with the tower beside, but he needed to go. Once past the clearing of the old leader's home, Croy jumped down from a ledge, hands clenching as they dove down through the floor, landing in the bunker. Kron? He searched around the bunker, into the hidden nook Kron slept in, phasing through the walls, looking to see if there's any new hidden crannies. Nothing. No one. Croy cursed, scratching the side of his face. He gave a huff, scaling up the vine that was the entrance and exit, jumping out and searching further, until they heard laughter. Kron was crouched by the beach edge, a jellyfish they had found in the sand sliding off their hands into the water, sinking and bobbing away into the depths. They stood up, shaking their hands as they felt the stinging effects the creature left on their skin, watching it turn a raw red. They turned on their heel, about to go walking home, but they spotted a familiar figure emerging from the trees, a gasp of excitement filling their lungs. Croy! The sudden yell made the ghost jump, head snapping over, seeing the excited figure jumping up and down, waving their arms in the air over their head. He tensed, falling still, a stark contrast to Kron, who appeared very oblivious to the fact, a ray of sunshine slowly making their way forward, barely able to stay still. Hi, I can see you, I can see my vision working. I'm not broken anymore. I ran and Marana fixed me, but tried to trap me. Miss Water Spirit attacked me, but I ran and I found God of Tales faction. He not dead, by the way, and we attacked weird wingy bitch with Miss Guide and Mr. Tank and Ribbit Person, and there was a flying eel when I left. Oh, I also met Kron let out a strangled noise as a sudden force slammed into them, their feet leaving the ground. They moved their head with a slight struggle, managing to see and realize that Croy was hugging them, holding them above the ground due to the ghost's height. Although they couldn't feel it, they could tell that it was tight. Croy, on the other hand, didn't appear to realize his roughness, not taking the usual care he would to be gentle, his hands trembling and his voice distorting further than normal. Gods above, Kron, you silly boy! He had to refrain from using words he'd regret, his mind running on worry and frustration like a battery on a short fuse. He pulled back sharply, realizing that he was holding Kron in a position that he doubted was comfortable, and placed them back down on their feet, the sand crunching beneath the weight. But the ghost didn't let go, his hands moving so that one would hold their shoulder, the other cupping the side of their head, fingertips partially phasing through the hood. Kron stammered softly, but Croy was caught up in his relief and stress, leaning down to be at the same level as the other. Do you know how worried I was? Why would you run without telling me? I could have helped you, kept you safe. I thought you'd drag me back. The tiny whispered response from Kron made Croy falter, watching as their excitement slowly dimmed down, their head turning downwards, their hands fiddling with their trench coat buttons. Their fingertips tingled from the jellyfish stings, the little zaps feeling as if they were springing up under their fingernails and down to their knuckles every time they brushed against the rusty buttons. Croy soon tilted their face back up to face his own, his grip softening, but the intensity of his feelings still lingered. What? No, hon, I would never do that. I would have figured something out. I would not have forced you to do anything you didn't want to. Kron shifted in the grip the ghost had on them, their arms slowly moving to hug themselves slightly, their head tilting to the side to look away again. They couldn't figure out what to do, how to respond. They felt as if they should apologize, but what if it was too late for that? Kron's hands clenched, the fabric of their trench coat bunching up in their fists, a flicker of anger sparking in their mind as a sudden thought came to mind. You disappear as well. Why you get to yell for me doing the same? It felt silent after that, and a tension grew between them both. In a way, it almost felt as if the very ocean itself was swallowed by the eerie silence that accompanied the pale garden of Kindlegrim. Not fair. Croy was silent after hearing Kron's final murmur, eventually realizing the breath he didn't realize he was holding. Carefully, giving Kron every chance to pull away if they wanted to, he pulled them into a much gentler embrace, which Kron, in return, slowly accepted. I am so sorry, Kron. That was not fair of me. Croy's voice was calmer now, softer. The distortion that was his voice had reduced itself back to normal, as one of his hands moved to cradle the back of the other's head, holding it with that familiar cautious care to his shoulder. He continued, a hum of guilt hanging off his words. I was scared, and I let that get the better of me. I am not angry with you, Kron, I promise. A beat of silence followed, as if the ghost was trying to gather his words, to make them comprehensible to himself, and to show he was being honest. And I am sorry I left you. I do not fully understand it myself, but I am unwell. That is the best word I can come up with at the moment. I never intended to leave you, to make you worry. I promise you, I tried to find the way back, but I got lost. With those final 3 words, Croy's head drooped, resting gently on Kron's shoulder, feeling the guilt weigh on him. He felt Kron shift, felt their head turn on his own shoulder, their mask facing him now. I got lost too, when ran from hospital. A pause. Okay, I forgive. We both here now. That better than not, right? Croy gave a soft laugh, giving Kron a gentle squeeze in response before pulling away a little. Kron could sense a smile coming off of the ghost, and they gave a small grin of their own, lifting their mask up a little so that Croy would see it. Yeah, it is much better. And you know what? With that, Croy pulled one hand away, sticking out his pinky and holding it out to Kron while his other hand rested on Kron's shoulder blade, keeping them close to his side. Kron looked at Croy's hand with a tilted head out of confusion at the random gesture, pulling their mask back down and hiding what was beneath. Let us make a promise, Croy continued, giving a small gesture for Kron to copy what he was doing with his pinky. A promise that we will not leave each other again, without telling the other where we are going, without giving the other a way to find us, or trying, if leaving was not a choice of ours. Why are you sticking finger out like that? Kron questioned, reluctantly coping the ghost, looking between his hand and their own, then looking up to his face. Hi, Beef. What you meowing about? Come here. What you meowing about? It is a gesture you use when making a promise. You hook them together to seal the promise. Kron let out a long, quiet, oh, before doing what Croy had explained, hooking their pinky around Croy's own. Promise made, then. Promise made, Croy repeated, swinging both his and Kron's arm playfully while keeping the pinkies hooked, before letting go and wrapping an arm around their shoulders, both slowly walking back to the red tree that was home. If all have meanings, what does middle one mean? Just do not stick it up in front of anyone. But why? What did it mean? I will explain another day. They're finally back together. It's been so long. I'm so happy. Reunite everyone. Make everyone happy. It must be the smile SMP again. No more sad SMP. No more frown SMP. Until the 9th. Huh?
Oh, but
huh? Hi, Mika. Bye, Mika. Zephyr's Reasons 1. You slammed your keyboard? That's so funny. This doc contains 2 parts of Zephyr's backstory. His story will be in multiple docs, but also carries suspense on why he wants to kill Balios so badly. War, blood, Balios' father, and death. I like how Balios' father is like one of the warnings. Zephyr was born on Finda. He lived in the floating kingdom of the Thunderbirds, a kingdom filled with Thunderbird hybrids. He was born a runt in his family, but his parents didn't care. They loved him all the same. His father was a general in the army, and his mother was a librarian. She used to be a war nurse, but stayed behind after having her first kid. Zephyr grew up with 2 older siblings, Villa and Nexus. They were much older by the time Zephyr was 2. They had already moved out and begun their life in the world. When he was 4, the kingdom of Bloodhounds fought a war against the Thunderbirds. Though the Thunderbirds won, Zephyr's father fell in battle. His family was saddened. Zephyr's brother took it upon himself to join the army to seek vengeance. Zephyr's sister, on the other hand, stayed behind and helped their mother run the house. When Zephyr was 7, the Bloodhound made a surprise attack. Their king Zenthos was still brooding over their loss. He made spikes and boulders shoot through the kingdom. Some hit the bottom of the floating island, weakening the crystals that kept it afloat. Soon the island began to sink into the ground. That's when Zenthos sent his army towards. When the island crashed into the ground, the Bloodhound army broke through the gates. Zenthos stayed back to command the launchers, keeping them stocked with ammo. Zephyr was hiding in a cubby that his mother had made for safety, when his mother and sister tried to fend off men who had broken into their home. But the roof caved in and blood was everywhere, family and enemy. He fled the cubby, running out a hole in the wall, but when he reached the alley behind his house, he was snatched by another hybrid. They were saving him. When he reached an open spot, the other hybrid stretched out its wings and took to the sky. Years later, after the vanishing but before Solace, Zephyr had woken up from his dream, and he sat up in the bed, swinging his legs over the edge as someone opened the door to his bedroom. It was Sethos. Your past still haunts you, Zephyr, even so many years later. Was it the same dream, the one from your past? I heard you scream, Sethos said as she sat down on the bed beside him. It was only part of it again, like little sprouts of it. It ended after my family's death. When Lilith saved me from that war, Zephyr said as he looked at Sethos. What are you doing up? It's barely dawn. Visions again. Belios will cause more trouble than just the 3 of the lesser good deaths. It's up to you to stop him. I know you don't like the lesser gods, but you know the bards would not want this world to be hurt again, not like the last time. So please, Zephyr, stop him, Sethos said as she stood. She muttered, get rest, before leaving the room quietly. He's always causing trouble, that bloody, violent god, Zephyr said as he laid down to try to get more sleep. I see. So Belios killed Zephyr's family. Content warning, violence, 2 tabs. This is Okul. Let's go. Okul stared at the door, idle in her cloth and shackle prison inside the hospital. She watched the seconds tick by, waiting for a member of the medical staff to show their face in her cell and force whatever medication they have on hand. The door creaked open and a feminine figure made its way inside of the room. Krufik. What reason do you have for disturbing me? Okul barked from her bed, trying to sound intimidating as though she could do anything about it if Krufik had harmful intentions. Relax, Okul. I ain't gonna hurt you. I won't gain anything from it, Krufik responded, relaxed in her demeanor. Sure you don't. Tell me why you've come then. I am a very busy general. I haven't all day. Okul kept up a facade, even as if she was useful as a paperweight. Krufik raised her eyebrow. Busy? With what? Waiting for your court date? She walked closer to Okul, approaching the side of her bed. You don't have to act some type of way, General. I remember what it's like being in this hospital. It's boring as fuck. Whatever. Do what you came here to do, Krufik. Okul said, well, I guess she's saying it defeated. Hold on. Whatever. Do what you came here to do, Krufik, Okul said, defeated. She didn't care to put up the act anymore. Krufik smiled, then, with a flash of light, a sword flashed into her hands. But not just any sword. Okul's sword. Freya's Ruin. I love that name, by the way. A gift of friendship, Mars told me to say. I tried to remake it as best as I could remember. Okul tried sitting up to get a look at it, but was quickly pulled back down by her restraints. Still, her focus fixated on it. My sword. I haven't seen it since... Okul remembered the encounter that put her where she is. It's beautiful, thank you. Okul thought to herself for a moment. Krufik chimed in shortly after. I'd give this to you, but I wasn't expecting to see you in chains, Krufik said sarcastically. Okul thought some more. They're going to try me for murder and surely many more crimes soon, Okul spoke, her voice dripping in pessimism. Murder? Krufik scoffed. Who'd you kill? That guy who broke the roof of this damn place? Yeah, bro, that guy had death on his tail this whole time. She paused. At least from what Mars has told me so far. And can it really be murder if he came back to life? So you see my point. It was not murder. If I remain here much longer, it will not end well for me. Okul continued to speak with a tone of doom and gloom. Yeah, well, that's how the cookie crumbles, General, Krufik commented while looking down at the sword in her hands, fiddling with the hilt. It's not like there's someone who can actually break you out. Krufik paused, the silence almost laughable as she practically heard Okul's thoughts. I'm not breaking you out, she said. Does my new ally not want to help contribute to the cause? Okul's voice was like a snake tongue laced with venom. You know the judges will likely have me executed for reasons you don't even agree with. Are you going to let those keepers have that much power? Krufik stared at Okul for a couple seconds, clearly internally debating something. The cause, Krufik repeated, her tone more professional now that they're getting to the nitty-gritty of things. The cause, Krufik. The House of Ocular Enlightenment. You've no doubt heard about it by now. You're no fool. Okul spoke almost sweetly to Krufik, trying to coax her. Krufik blinked a few times, like a loading bar, as she thought about what to respond with. Now, why would I concern myself with the HOE, especially when it would risk the well-being of my people? You're a leader, you understand. Because without the House, Eclipse would think herself uncontested in power. We are the only ones who've made attempts at her. We are the only reason she knows people are after her. So that is why. You're a leader. You understand. The last words were almost sarcastic in tone. Silence, and for a while it seemed like Krufik was getting irritated, but instead she smiled. Uh-huh, sure. Krufik hesitated. You have many, many flaws in your logic, but I get what you're trying to say. She lowered herself on the edge of the bed. So what? HOE KOF tag team? Is that what you're proposing? For the time being, Okul adjusted in her confined space. We can help each other out, at least until all our goals are met. Who knows? Maybe this will be the beginning of a very long and very fruitful friendship. Okul smiled, her tusks and fangs bared at Krufik. Krufik thought to herself for a count, then exhaled through her nose. Maybe so, Krufik agreed, but suddenly, the look in her eyes darkened as she leaned towards Okul. But if you turn on me, or fuck up anything important to me, she raised her hand to show the frosty smoke pouring out of her palm, I'll make you wish you were executed. Got it? Message received, oh icy one. Now, are you going to use that ice to shatter these? Okul leaned up, tired of the talking and ready to finally be free of the restraints. The chains tensed as she pulled against them. Krufik leaned back to look at the restraints, then she wrapped her hand around a freshly exposed part of the chains. In a mighty small amount of time, the chains froze, becoming brittle and heavy. After it was completely frozen, she let go and flicked it with the same hand. The chains shattered in an instant. Don't make me regret this, Okul, Krufik warned. Okul jumped out of the bed without hesitation, stretching her legs with a sigh of relief. I haven't been able to walk in weeks. Thank you, Krufik. Okul's demeanor turned serious once again. We don't have much time, though. The doctor's scarabs are everywhere. Okul turned her back to Krufik. Undo the straps of the jacket so we can go, quickly. Of course, Krufik listened. She put more of a rush into her movements as she undid the straitjacket straps after flashing the sword away to free her own hands. What do those scarabs even do? Are they like gun-equipped or something? Krufik asked. Okul rolled the excess cloth of the jacket up her arms, freeing her hands, and without a moment's hesitation freed the defibrillators from the wall and slammed them against a nearby scarab, shocking it. The doctor's eyes and ears. He probably already knows I'm free. The scarab twitched on the ground, immobilized. I'd like my sword back now, Krufik. With a nod, Okul's sword flashed into Krufik's hand, then she held the handle over. I'm not making that damn thing again, so don't go getting stabbed, all right? Krufik joked, though she's being dead serious. Believe me, I don't plan on it. Okul put down one of the defibrillators and took the sword slowly and softly moved it around, taking in every detail of her repaired blade, a grin subtly making home of her face as she did. I think it's time to go. Care to lead the way? So you could use me as a meat shield? Krufik assumed, but even so, she still walked out of the hospital room first, not even checking if Okul was following her. We just need to find Mars and we're all good to go. Okul looked closely at her monitor and nodded before she began to follow close behind, letting Krufik navigate the halls of the hospital as Okul kept watch for scarabs. Traitor! The voice of the doctor rang through the halls, followed closely by a gunshot. It whistled past Krufik and hit Okul, knocking her to her knee. Okul recovered quickly and watched a second shot hit Krufik. Oh no, not gunshots hitting Krufik again, sending her to the floor. She quickly closed the ground between the doctor and herself and jammed the extra defibrillator into his side, hoping to damage his electronics. She made eye contact with the doctor as one of his hands landed against her side, redirecting all the energy she just poured into him and sending her crashing into the wall. She felt a burn against her side, as though she had... Hi, Beef. Meow, meow, meow. She's meowing because Virgil's making mac and cheese, and she wants some. And she's mad because he's not giving her any. He's not going to give you any. Mac and cheese is not for you. Come here. Meep, meep. Meep, meep. Meep, meep. Oh, Baelius' father killed Zephyr's family. Good to know. She dropped the defibrillator and used the now free hand to punch the doctor. She hit him once and felt something break. She hit him a second time and watched as he fell to the floor. The doctor had been felled, but Okul did not feel victorious. She felt enraged. This is the doctor who had kept her captive for who knows how long. The doctor who allowed his employees to enter her room and physically assault her. The doctor who allowed the corrupt judge to enter her room and issue threats as though they were fortunes. The doctor who ran this hospital, not like a practitioner of medicine, but like a mad scientist. She's not wrong. Okul did not feel victorious. She felt enraged. She looked down at the limp body of Magos and began to kick it. She stomped down on the joints of the legs, crushing them beneath her feet. Let's see how you like having your mobility taken away from you. She continued to kick and crush and let out her pent-up frustration, feeling the crunching of mechanical parts beneath her. Krufik walked up behind Okul, focusing on her before looking down at Magos, the weird doctor that had helped her, reduced to nothing but old cars at a junkyard. Okay, that's enough, Krufik interjected, grabbing Okul's collar from the back to pull her away. Thank you. Let's go before the others get here. She crouched beside Magos, freezing some of the larger open wounds shut so he wouldn't have a high chance of bleeding out. Then she stood up and began heading to the door. We can't leave yet. Do you know where they keep the stuff they take off their patients? Okul said, still a little lightheaded. Krufik stopped her stride and turned around, sighing as she ran her fingers to the top of her hair. No, obviously not. My stuff was in my room when I stayed here, Krufik explained, her hand making a muffled sound as it pats against her side. I need my uniform. It is imperative that I don't leave without it. Okul still carried the intensity in her voice, clearly not trying to expel it. Well, I don't know where it would be. Yurillo can just come back later and get it, or Mars, Krufik said, wanting to get out of the hospital ASAP. They have to be keeping it somewhere. Okul frustratedly threw open a nearby closet door. Behind it is her uniform, battered as the day she came in, her boots neatly under it. She scoffed and took the jacket off the hanger, throwing it on over her hospital clothes. Then she threw her boots on. We can go now. Okul winced as she watched in the reflection of the river. She watched her fingers trace over the wild and erratic fractal-like patterns of the light blue scar. She traced it from her stomach, moving up and right. She traced it under the bandages that wrapped her chest, keeping her decent, and up onto the right side of her neck, before finally reaching her face, tapering out below her lip. That damned doctor, she whispered to herself as she kicked the water that reflected her, distorting and blurring her image so she wouldn't have to see it anymore. Would she even see her image? Technically, she wouldn't see her image in the, water reflection. Right? You and Ruby are running a Waffle House on the SMP right now? I need to come join! Oh my gosh. Once I'm done here, I'm gonna check it out. What's that? Yeah, what's that? Okul jumped as a voice chirped from behind her. It was Vey, smiley as ever, excited to talk to Okul. Okul sighed. Remember when the doctor shocked me? It made this, a mark. Oh, will it heal? Vey asked optimistically. Probably not for a long time, but that's not for you to worry about. Okul stood up and softly took Vey's hand. Let's see if Krufik has any clothes you can wear. Vey's not real! I hate to break it to you. Alright, we got another anima log.
The machine works. Yes, this may be a circumstantial experiment, as the subject, Zenithra, seems to be a special being. Still, I don't care. After years of suffering with these restrictions, I finally have hope. Though it may be stupid not to do any further tests, I'll be attempting to soul transfer on myself next week. Yes, I must mention my current actions. I'm currently going over research logs as I'm making this recording, but back to the topic of the test. It successfully transferred Zenithra's soul to the homunculus. However, her memory seemed to be a bit fuzzy afterward.
Poor Zenithra.
It still worked and proved that these experiments are not a fool's errand, but a proper chance at transferring a soul. But now I, Anima, must sign off from the human soul transfer test.
Truffle, how did you spend every waking moment at the hospital with Zenithra and still miss when this happened? It's so over. The traitor within. Magos lore. My silent alarms flared. She's breaking out. How could this be? I monitored every possible outcome. What could I have missed? My legs carried me into the hallway I knew would be their only chance of escape. With my Ryan pistol drawn, I waited to fire upon Okul. That's when I saw both of them, Krufik and Okul. How had Krufik brought a sword in? They did not have it when they entered this place. Traitor! My voice boomed. I thought my old faction leader had more common sense than this. My first shot missed Krufik but landed on Okul. That would buy me a couple seconds. Okul had one of my defibrillators. She must have shut down some of my scarabs. The air whistled as the sword swung near my throat. My second shot landed itself in the traitor. I watched her body crumple to the floor. I wished I had set this weapon to lethal mode. I jerked as the electricity hit me. Okul was here, and she had made a mistake. I flung Okul with the energy I redirected. Seeing her crash into a wall filled me with a slight amount of joy. I raised my gun ready to end this. There would be no third shot, for a sword had tasted my blood and my arm remained on the ground. She's back up. Damage indicators had finally popped up. Warnings flooded my view as both descended upon me. I was soon able to taste the unfiltered air once again. A fist had met my face, and then another. When I finally came back to reality, my body was heavily damaged. Gold-like liquid leaked from this broken body. Every movement felt like my last as I dragged my broken shell into the stasis chamber for repairs. Poor Magos. Missing person. Oh, Waters is missing. No. Oh. Why is the window thing not working? There we go. No. Alright, we have Truffle, Bob, Light. 4 more. Leaving. I just gotten done with cleaning the waiting room of Glitter. I was one of the lower-ranking nurses, not quite having the same medical experience as the others, so I was the janitor. Balios had decided to glitter bomb the hospital, and it could be dangerous in a whole number of ways if it got anywhere near the actual hospital. The hospital where it smells like lemons and chemicals with names too hard to say nor spell out. The hospital that always looked like a blank sheet of A4 printer paper. The hospital with buzzing of lights and beeping of machines that I had already gotten used to. The hospital where everything felt smoothed down like it was scared to show any flaws. The hospital that still felt somewhat foreign to me. I made my way through it, not as Nurse Truffle Balacho, but as Truffle Balacho, there to visit my recovering child. They had recovered a while ago. Bandages no longer covered their melted eyes, and needles didn't have to feed them nutrients anymore. Yet I said nothing. They said nothing. I was smart enough to play dumb when they faked sleep in front of me. Not a word since they had returned. Maybe higher powers know they saw what they saw in that other dimension that made them so very clearly resent me. Maybe not. I was smart enough never to do anything. I was too scared to do anything. The ragged brown dress shoes I always wore, no matter the occasion, clicked like buttons on the hospital tile as I made my way to Zenithra's room. I could only prepare myself for another night of sleeping in that metal chair, the one that had a small chip in the hard blue plastic, sharp enough to cut, just to show whatever shred of hope they might still have in me I was there for them. Emptiness. Emptiness was the first thing to strike me down, like lightning to a tree, when I walked into that room. It was emptied of the blood orange that I had left on the nightstand earlier in the day, slightly thicker than normal peel left in the trash bin. It was emptied of the deliberately slow breathing they always had when I came around. It was emptied of the perfect sheets I had tucked them in with. The itchy cotton was ruffled and half on the ground. It was emptied of Zenithra. It was emptied of my child. I should have gone to the staff, to judges, to anyone. I should have told anyone. I couldn't tell anyone that I had failed yet again. So I just collapsed into the metal chair, the one that had a small chip in the hard blue plastic, sharp enough to cut, just to be left alone with my thoughts for the amount of time I couldn't count. And I wished. Wishing turned into praying, praying turned into begging. I begged to be taken back to my planet before I came to what must have been hell, disguised in a bright, beautiful blue sky and scenery you only see an artist paint once in their life. Truffle, you're cooking! I mean, your writing's always good, but this is really good. Maybe at the end of my thoughts, I could figure out why I wanted to go back to a planet I had so desperately left. Solace smelled of the dew on grass, the kind that only forms before even the early bird has woken up, like freshly bloomed poppies with petals that were red like perfectly ripe cherries. It painted the world in gorgeous, vibrant colors, the green of the grass, the yellow of the sun and daisies, the blue of the sky and of the water that mirrored what was above. You could hear the birds serenading each other before noon and the waterfalls rushing to race each other into rivers that led into vast oceans. Used writing technique you learned in English. It's really good. The planet felt like splintering oak wood and blades of grass that were just a little bit itchy, and yet I wanted so badly to trade it all away. To trade it for the scent of motor oil and overwhelming rusty iron, maybe ash of something had recently burned down. My home planet painted everything in such a bleary light, the ash blue of the polluted sky, occasionally vibrant reds and oranges and violent flickers of blue and fires. You were woken up by yelling, the venomous hissing of engines, and the crackling of lightning as it hit like a target like an arrow. It felt like my own rough, calloused hand when I was writing a letter and dry soil cracking under boots. Solace had been nothing but kind to me. My old home treated me like gunk on the bottom of her shoe to be looked at in disgust before being thrown away. Yet I wanted so desperately to go back, because there I had power. Unfortunately, my home, like nearly everything in my life, is gone. Truffle. Truffle, try not to be so sad. Challenge impossible. Bob's request. Why does mine have to follow up that? It was so good. Bob, your writing is good too. It feels weird being back. I was gone for so long. So many new faces have appeared and ones that I used to know have disappeared. Even the library has changed. When I left, it was still underground. The world was in such turmoil it would have been dangerous to not keep it hidden. It is strange having this peace. I know there are still dangerous groups lurking, but I don't feel like the library is ever in any danger anymore. Comet has welcomed me back with open arms, as if nothing has changed. They read the logs, though. They know I am not the same man who built the library all those years ago. It seems they don't want to talk about it, at least not now. It is good, though. Our relationship doesn't seem to have changed that much. Comet hasn't even changed that much. They just seem more tired. Tired of work, but also the world. Maybe I am, too. A man can only see so much destruction before needing a break. I wish I could say it was all from the Great Anomaly, but it was not. All I can do is try to rebuild and keep working. I found a nice spot at the back of the librarian's island where I will build a small cottage. Anything bigger would be unnecessary. Besides, I imagine I will be spending a lot of time at the library anyway. Comet kept complaining about having a lack of resources. I will set up the infrastructure like I did last time. I will take some of the burden off of them. I can't stop thinking about it, though. The lady who could rewrite reality as she saw fit. Freya has that power. She used it to create the very planet I'm standing on. Who says she couldn't do it again? She was always so kind. I'm sure she would be willing to help. I pack up some stuff and head towards the Keepers of Solace area. I find Freya and ask to talk to her. She agrees, happy to see me back on Solace. I begin explaining that I lost my wings a long time ago. She asks me how I lost them. I pause for some time, contemplating if I tell her the truth. I eventually tell her that I lost them from a flying accident. The long pause may have given away my life for anyone else, but Freya was not accustomed to verbal cues. I then ask her if she would be willing to return my wings to me. Her smile drops ever so slightly. She says she has never altered a living being before. She's scared that it could harm them or worse, kill them. On top of that, she would have to deeply understand my wings, which were likely by now long gone. I began questioning her. I tell her that she basically has the power of a goddess and how she can decide reality. I don't yell as I know it's not her fault, but I can't prevent my voice from slowly rising in volume as I continue to speak. I tell her that she created a whole world, changed the fates of all the people who lived here, some of whom could have been destined to die, but she meddled to alter that. And I am simply asking her to undo a wrong previously done. So why is it now that she begins to get cold feet? Freya slightly tilts her head and asks if I'm upset at her. I sigh, gather myself, and tell her no. I apologize for raising my voice. I know it's not her fault, and her reasoning is understandable. I thank her for her help. She says she wishes she could help more. As I am heading back to the library, she mentions that if there is anything else she can help with, I should just ask. I make it back home and sit down on my desk. I know I shouldn't be upset at Freya. She's kind and always has helped people. But I just can't help hating her. By Mika. Another person who hates Freya. Chef's kiss. And the fact that Comet, loves Freya, will defend Freya with their life. And Bob hates Freya. It's great. It's great. I wanted them to talk about that to each other. This is from the ride back after the mission to save Bob, so kind of flashback, but not long ago. Trigger warning scars. I'm glad to be saved, but it feels weird. I was alone for so long, only had brief interactions with people. Beef has the zoomies right now. People on different planets. I think I forgot what it was like to have friends. Comet and Obsivi, two of my closest and strongest friends. I trusted they would save me, but I don't know if they can forgive what I've done. I don't like lying to Comet, so I gave them my logs. They said they would read them when we got back. Now is the time to celebrate. Sorry for calling you Bob the Builder when I didn't know you were in cult. That's crazy. Can we fix it? I mean, Bob is trying to fix his wings. Can we fix it? You know, it works. Apparently when I was being rescued from the dungeon, the rest of the crew was raiding the wine cellars. They even found some good whiskey and I accepted a glass of it. I couldn't get drunk like the rest of them, but I tended to enjoy the taste from time to time. It was nice drinking with everyone. Comet introduced me to the rest of the crew. Our pilot was named Dante. Comet didn't know him well, but he was a friend of a friend, apparently. The alcohol raiders were Cam and Feather. Cam was a very good friend of Comet, even saving their life a while back. He loves exploration, so I can imagine we will get along in the future. Feather was also someone Comet wasn't close with, especially due to familial connections, apparently. There's something interesting about Feather, though. Almost familiar. I stand off to the side and quickly flip through my notebook until I find the page I am looking for. The planet SOT. It was the first one I visited on my travels. It contained creatures who I originally assumed to be frogs, but were actually a different species known as cryptids, living in frog suits. The interesting thing about this planet was the specific reason I came there. A cryptid had chosen not to be a frog and instead a bird. This anomaly had felt like it was intentionally hidden on this planet, as if they were ashamed on it. I think this very anomaly is Feather. I look up across the room and see Feather talking to Dante. I walk up to them and ask if I can have a word with Feather. Dante says sure and that he should head back to the cockpit anyway. I start off again by thanking Feather for coming to save me. I then ask them if they were originally from SOT. She gives me a suspicious look and asks me how I knew that. I explained to her how I had visited SOT and what I had learned there. I then questioned her on why she was okay with her people treating her like a mistake or an error. I told her that I thought it was outrageous how she was treated. She calmly sighed and said that she doesn't care about what they think about her. The only Frogger who she cares about is her family, Frog, who she says she will introduce me to someday. Frog accepts her how she is, and that is all that matters. She says that her people can try to erase her from history all they want, but her just being here defies them. She reiterates that the only people she listens to are the ones she cares for, her family, her friends. She tells me she would do anything for someone she loves, even lose a limb. At this time, she shakes a half-cut wing in my direction. I noticed it before and I guess now was the perfect time to ask about. She tells me that she lost it on a mission similar to this and that she chose to keep fighting despite losing it. I ask her if she misses the freedom of being able to soar without anything holding her back, the wind whipping her in her hair, no cares in the world. She gives me a curious look before asking me if I have wings. She says only a person who has flown could truly understand that experience. I tell her I used to, a long, long time ago. She gives me this sad look and asks what happened, and I tell her that is a story for another day, my voice wavering ever so slightly. Bye, Truffle. She hesitates for a second before reaching out and giving me a hug. As she hugs me, I know she can feel the scars under my shirt, but I assume she chooses to leave that for the later conversation as she doesn't bring it up. She doesn't have to know what happened. She can feel the pain. Aww. I was hoping they would talk. 'Cause, like, you know, Feather can understand. Alright. Last one from Light. Light ran a hand across the table, rustling the papers underneath her fingers. Her expression was grim. She sighed and looked around the office Waters had made in the Parks and Rec Center. She wished that Waters was to be found here, that... She sighed again, taking her hand away from the table. She wiped around tears that had threatened to fall. She turned and looked out the windows, just in time to catch sight of Violence. Light whirled around and leapt over the table and ran downstairs. She ran at Violence, grabbed him, and dragged the robot into a dark corner by the hospital, just out of sight of any cameras. Whoa now, Light, no need to be all physical with me, Violence said, a joking tone in his voice. Where is she? Light asked. Where is Frog? Oh, so you care more about that Frogger than your old pal, Violence? The robot clown replied. I'm shocked. Hurt even. And here I thought that you cared about me. Don't you dare, Violence, she yelled. Her ears lowered as tears formed in her eyes. Slowly, she lets Violence go as a broken sob escapes her. I wanted to believe you would be a good person. I wanted to believe that you wouldn't stoop so low as to hurt people like you are. She looked up, meeting Violence's eyes with her own tear-filled eyes. Violence, please, don't let my belief in you being able to be a good person be in vain. Silence stretched between them. There was hope in Light's eyes, hope that Violence would do the right thing. Violence lifted his chin and looked down at Light with disgust and a hint of sadness in his eyes. You never cared about me. You never cared to visit, or to even tell me that the man I respected was on the brink of death, so why should I care for how you view me? He spat. The hope in Light's eyes dimmed. Her ears lowered as she lowered her head. Her wings tucked closer to her face, as if trying to hide the sadness, hurt, and disappointment on her face. I did plan to. I was busy. With what? Violence snapped. Recovering my memories, Light said. Violence faltered slightly. She sighed softly. When the Monastery of Red Tears took me, something in their pit had affected me greatly. It was like it took all of the negative memories that had jumbled my positive memories enough to where it was hard to remember anything. She walked beside Violence and sat against the wall. Then when my memories came back, my health took a nosedive. I was right behind Waters when Elia had filled that cave with poison. Violence's eyes widened in shock. You were? He questioned. Light nodded. That was before you and I had met up. You were poisoned then? Light nodded again. And when you coughed into your hand? I had coughed up blood, she said softly. A sign of my worsening health then. Then what happened? Violence asked. Light took a sharp breath and gently bumped her head against the wall of the hospital. She heard the rustle of fabric and the whirls of mechanical gears. She looked and saw that Violence had sat beside her. She sighed softly and rubbed her face with her hands. I had a panic attack, ripping an earring from my ear in the process, she said, pointing to the missing piece of flesh on her left ear. Violence winced in sympathy. Then my chronic pain flared, and I have been recovering from that, or trying to at the least. Then Balios fell through the hospital, leaving a hole in it and making Truffle go splat in the process. Violence snorted. Light gave him an unimpressed look. Kron had escaped in the chaos and had disappeared. Then she hesitated. Then she sighed, her ears lowering. I had attacked Okul. Silence stretched between them for a long while. You what? Violence yelled, making Light wince as her ears pinned back. Light! She is a very dangerous individual. Kind of why I respect her. But still, why would you do that? Light laughed nervously, then she looked away. I had gone in to check on Okul's wound, and I made a mistake of asking her why she did what she did at Balios' execution. Why she had killed him, she said, sounding tired. She laughed, then declared that it was a demonstration, a show of power. Then she mocked the fact that I could have shot her, that I had an opening to shoot her, as if I hadn't spent the months since beating myself up for not doing so. She sighed and placed her head in her hands. With everything that happened that same day, all that frustration just bubbled up. I lost control and just beat her up. She rubbed her face and sighed softly. Look, I do have Frog. I'll release her soon, but I'm going to do what I feel is right. Violence looked Light in her eyes. I'm not going to kill Frog if that's what you're worried about. Light sighed softly, her ears lowering. I want to believe you, Violence, but how can I be completely sure that's the case? That you would keep your word and let Frog go, she replied. You don't have to believe me. That's okay. Light gave Violence an unimpressed look as he cackled with laughter. Very funny, she grumbled. She slowly stood up, wincing slightly when her legs protested her movement with sparks of pain. She growled, frustrated with her chronic pain. I'll be in SUNC, trying to hack Ceros for more information. If you intend to truly let Frog go without any further harm, then drop her off at the facility where I can find her. I will not, but I will drop her off at her house eventually, Violence replied. Light sighed and offered her hand to Violence, helping him to his feet. Fine, but no, I will be checking. She met Violence's eyes, her own glowing in the darkness. I'll say this, Violence, she said coldly, her grip bending his metal hand out of shape ever so slightly. Her eyes narrowed, the world seemed to darken, the crows took to flight, cawing their warnings as whispers of the dead rose from around. Spectral hands rose and wrapped around their joined hands, seeping deep into Violence's arm. If you hurt Frog further, or she isn't returned to her home in a timely manner, I will find you. I will make sure you regret ever hurting one of my friends. She let go of Violence's hand, watching the metal pop back into place. She sighed softly and looked away. Go away. I won't report that you've been here, she said softly. Don't make me regret that. Violence smiled. Sure thing, friend. No further harm. He looks at Light before he happily skips away. Thank you, friend, he calls in the distance just before he was out of her sight. Light growled, her ears lowering. She sighed and turned away. She shifted into her dragon form and leapt up into the air, flying to the north, heading back to the SUNC. So many of the Keepers of Solace, oh, hello, we will also watch this. So much of the Keepers of Solace just do not care. They don't work with each other. Like, so many, like, why? Why aren't you reporting violence? Waffle House update. We made a frog on the roof of the Waffle House, the owner, and he escaped the IRS. I'm missing out on so much. Let's watch this.
Those who plunge the world into chaos. Corrupted emissaries who twisted their own virtues.
They hid from you behind their deceit, apathy, sloth, and destruction.
What was that? Hold on. What was that? Can I see that? I can't get it. It was a flash of Cookie Run Kingdom? That's crazy.
An unwavering faith has turned to a lie. Our divine missions have scattered into nothingness. Corrupted fiends who abandoned Cookie kind in favor of their sloth and lust for destruction. There is not a speck of divinity left in your souls. Twisted demons, cursed beasts. I will tear your dough to shreds with my own hands! For every tear you spilled, you shall spill germ tenfold!
Enough! 'Tis not time for despair yet. Albeit long and arduous, a path to restore our world might still exist.
There is only one way to do it. I must ask for your help one last time. It is my final wish to put the world, tainted by their hands, to rights.
That was fire. Absolute cinema. Feather lore goes crazy. Are there any lore sheets? There is one. No. Copy of Belios. I don't remember if we've seen any of this. We saw that. Pascal Norton. Bloom! Originally worked at Nullvale Labs, used to be the caretaker of Bloom. Still sort of is her caretaker. Used to have a sister until an accident occurred. Oh my gosh, we get Bloom, we get Pascal freaking art. Let's go. Those glasses. We have Rotwood. Hat from Lucky. Aww. Awesome. We have copy of Belios. What was this? Oh, Zephyr. Yo. Zephyr is truly the last person, or at least human, with wings of a thunderbird that expand over 30 feet. He stands around 7 feet tall. The gods never liked Belios, so they never told Zephyr good things about him, leading to Zephyr having negative thoughts about him. And even after the betrayals from his past, he learns that he must fight for what he and others think is right. He uses all type of magic but has mastered telekinesis, using it to fly. He has 3 spears that he controls with his mind. He doesn't like using his hands. Will Belios and Zephyr make a connection, or will they be lost to the lies of the immortal beings they place their trust in? Ooh. And then we have Artemis. I just realized you guys couldn't see that. Hold on. Why is it opening here? Whatever. Here's this. Enjoy. Okay, sorry, this is like really bright. Artemis Silvermoon. Artemis is from a small planet called Azeroth. Her people isolated her. She never found out why, but she has a theory it has something to do with her parents. She never knew them well. They were always working around her. She never had a childhood. She was always on her own. She had a pet snake who was named Cosmic Coffee Bean, or Bean for short. She escaped on a small ship she found on her patio. On her patio? That's a huge patio then. She never learned how to fly, but winged it and crash landed on Solace. What she remembers of being in her parents? Nothing. Nice. Cool. I'm wondering where this is from. Did you draw this? Cool, 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 cool. Alright. I cried while starting this. I'm so sorry. Yeah, sorry. Thanks, Light. Alright. That is it for today. I am going to fade away into the darkness now. Never to be seen again. AKA, I'm gonna jump on the server. See ya.